Authentic assessment as the preferred method in early childhood education. There are several types of assessment that are used in determining what a child has learned and understood, such as formative assessment, which is task oriented, student guided, and can be informal and formal, summative assessment, which is conducted after an established period of learning, and authentic assessment, which focuses on the child using gained knowledge in a practical manner. Of these presented, I believe authentic assessment is the most appropriate method of assessment for the early childhood environment. Let's focus some more on authentic assessment. Authentic assessment uses activities to determine how students actively use the knowledge learned in application to everyday scenarios that present themselves. Psychology professor John Mueller of North Central College in Illinois defines this as a form of assessment in which students are asked to perform real-world tasks that demonstrate meaningful application of essential knowledge and skills. For the early childhood practitioner, this means using the child's daily routine to determine what they understand and how they learn. The child in this picture can be authentically assessed for their level of fine and gross motor skills, pattern making, and sequencing using beading. Another example is that a teacher may use fruit time to determine if a child can identify fruits, colors, shapes, and counting skills. Reasons why authentic assessment is most appropriate for young children in the early childhood classroom. Firstly, it employs methods that are unintrusive and non-intimidating to young children. This would include covert and overtly interactive methods such as observation, questioning, anecdotes, jottings, and journals. This is important as other assessment methods are not conducive to the average 2 to 5-year-old's developmental abilities. It is acknowledged that traditional assessment is very limited when assessing young children, and so authentic assessment has been favored as best practice by researchers Bagnato et al. 2014. Another reason is that it shows students' strengths and weaknesses in a detailed, more informed manner. One can see not only the results, but how the response was actively produced to a large extent. There are various types of learners in any class and should be considered when conducting authentic assessment. Rice, 2014, advocates this position when she identifies that role play and using open-ended materials and props, children begin to demonstrate many of the skills and concepts they have mastered. This gives a unique perspective on any observed strengths and weaknesses. Last but not least, it informs the teacher on what strategies and methods should be used in lesson planning. By knowing how a particular child learns and their level of understanding, the teacher can now revise current strategies and develop new ones. In their research, Bagnato et al. 2011 found that authentic assessment meets the standards of quality assessment, such as having measurable objectives and methods that can be replicated by others. It also focuses on teachable, functional competencies that informs what and how to teach. Based on these reasons, authentic assessment is clearly best suited to the young child in the early childhood classroom and is currently widely used by early childhood practitioners across the world.